Hey guys, this week I'm going to share with you how you can find your next home before other buyers even know it's for sale. If you've been looking for a home for a while or you just got started, you've probably noticed there's not many listings available. If you try to do showings, sometimes the houses sell before you can see it, and if you do get a chance to see it and submit an offer, you oftentimes will lose in multiple offers. So I'm going to share with you at the end of this short video how you can find your next home again before other buyers even know it's for sale. And this is a real thing. I'll tell you how it works here at the end of the video. Before we do that, I want to present to you guys the market news for Cincinnati real estate here for week 10 of 2021. If you don't know, I'm Patrick Grosser. I'm with Fathom Realty. And we're going to take a look at the numbers for this past week and compare them to the same week last year to see how everything measures up. So this week compared to last year, new listings are down 6%. Of course, that's discouraging to see because inventory is already low. But as I've said in weeks past, I expect that new listings are actually going to increase compared to the same time last year as we go through March and April, because if you remember, this week last year was still before all the COVID lockdowns were in place here in Ohio and the greater Cincinnati area. So I think as we progress through March and April, we're going to see that new listings compared to last year are going to increase significantly, because we saw sometimes up to 40% drop in new listings last year compared to 2019. Closings for this past week compared to last year are down 18%. That's discouraging to see, just overall less activity compared to last year. Again, for the same reason, I think that's going to pick up. We're going to see increases in closings compared to last year as we progress through March and April. Average sale price, great news again for sellers. We're up 22% compared to last year. Obviously bad news for buyers as well, but the low interest rates are actually helping buyers to have more buying power. So if you were buying last year at 4%, you're less than 3% this year in terms of your interest rate, you can actually buy quite a bit more house. And it helps you to absorb some of that cost as a buyer. Average days on market is down 33% compared to last year. We're at 26 days right now. Last year it was in the upper 30s in terms of how many days listings were sitting on the market. So that's great news again for sellers. It's difficult for buyers because listings are going under contract faster than they were last year. It's not as big a decrease at 33% as we've seen in other weeks. So again, I think as listing inventory picks up, I think buyer demand is going to remain strong. But I think as inventory picks up, we're going to see the average days on market might get a little bit longer, which is going to be helpful to buyers, and also maybe a little bit of breathing room for sellers who are worried about selling too fast where they can't find their next home before they sell. Speaking of inventory, we're at 2.25 months. So we've actually ticked up a little bit here since last week, and compared to what we've seen in weeks past. This is great news because at the beginning of this year, we were seeing about almost 1 3/4, 1.75 months of inventory. Now we're getting almost, compared to the beginning of this year, almost another half of a month, which is only a couple weeks of inventory. But every little bit's going to help. And again, I think as the warm weather kicks in here in the spring, and people start thinking about moving in the summertime, we typically get an influx of listings. And compared to last year, where we had the COVID lockdowns happening in early spring, I think we're really going to see a boom in terms of the new listings that come to market. Of course, I think that's going to be met with equal demand from buyers, so I don't think we're going to see a huge shift in terms of it being a buyer's market or a seller's market, but it will give everybody just a little bit more to choose from as buyers, and it's still going to, as a seller, you're still going to sell for top dollar. You just may have a little bit more time to plan your move. So jumping into what I mentioned at the beginning here, what you want to do as a buyer, whether you're renting now and you're buying for the first time, or if you're buying your next home and you still have to sell your current home, either way, you need to start your process of your move with how are you going to strategize to put yourself in the best position to not only find your next home, but also to win the bid if you're in a multiple offer situation. And the best way to do that, if you can, is to actually find out about a home that's going to be listed before any other buyers know about it. So this way you could avoid competition from other buyers. You could avoid overbidding and overpaying for the house. You just don't have to deal with a multiple offer situation. And it's a much lower pressure situation. So what I've been doing for my buyer clients is proactively seeking out sellers who would be willing to sell if they got a fair price for their house, but they're not ready to list yet. They're still working on finding their next house, or maybe they're just starting to think about it. It's worth our time and effort to take a look at what is out there that is possibly going to be on the market soon that I can give you guys access to as a client. That way we can match up what you're looking for and what the sellers that are available on the market pretty soon here, of course they're off market now, what they have in terms of inventory, what's coming up. And that way, if you can get pre-market access to these unlisted homes, you might find a match, and the seller would like that as well because they don't have to deal with the hassle of prepping for a bunch of showings. They don't have to get out of the house for an entire day or two while showings are happening. They don't have to stress about which of the multiple offers to accept and having to disappoint some other people. Most sellers, that if they're planning a move, of course they want to get top dollar, and we would still, I would still recommend, if I'm representing the buyer in this situation, we're going to pay fair market value. At the end of the day, a seller, even if they get multiple offers, they're still subject to the appraisal. So even if they can get a bunch of bids over what the house is worth, the appraiser comes in and kind of chops that down and determines that based on the comps, this is what's acceptable, this is what the house is worth. So most sellers are starting to understand that. They would rather not deal with the hassle, all the stress of the traditional listing process if they can avoid that. They'd just like to sell their home for a fair price, and they'd like to be able to be flexible in terms of their next move. They want to be able to buy their next house before they sell their house and have to move out. They don't want to feel rushed, okay? So there are plenty of homeowners out there that would be willing to sell if we presented them with a good offer, provided that they had the flexibility and timing to move out as well. So as long as you're in a flexible position in terms of timing and you're thinking about buying, I can get you guys pre-market access to Unlisted Homes. These are sellers that I would pre-screen. First, I would advertise to find out people who are interested, and then I would actually have a conversation with them and understand a little bit more about their house, how it might fit the needs that you're looking for and the criteria that you're looking for in your next home to try to match you up, but also just make sure that they're serious about this and they would actually entertain an offer if it was presented, and they'd be willing to show the home as well. So again, a great opportunity to, as a buyer, get pre-market access to Unlisted Homes. What I'm offering to do here is to advertise, spend my time and my money to first find sellers that are willing to raise their hand and say, we might be interested in selling, and then actually contacting them, getting more information, and then matching them with my clients. And if you're one of those clients and you're in that position, you're literally going to be the only one who knows that that house is potentially even for sale. So yes, you're going to have to pay fair market value because the sellers aren't going to give you a discount. They know they can list it and sell it for a great price. So we would want to take the position of understanding the seller side, their point of view. We're going to pay fair market value, but we're going to give them some flexibility on when we can move, and that way we can make these two deals come together and make everybody happy. There's less stress, there's less competition that way, and of course it benefits you as a buyer 100% because you don't have to deal with the stress of multiple offers and you don't have to feel like you overpaid for the house. So the best thing is, if you're interested in more information on this, just go ahead and comment on this post, Unlisted. Again, comment Unlisted, and that'll just give us an idea here that you're interested in that, and we'll start the process. The more you can tell me about the type of home you're looking for, the better chance I have of actually matching you with something that you'd like. So you can tell me what areas you're looking in. Again, the more specific, the better, even if you're choosing just one zip code or even choosing one neighborhood or one school district. Tell me what you're looking for specifically, how many beds and baths you want, what kind of a price range you're comfortable with. The more information you give me, again, the better chance I have of actually matching you. If I can narrow that list of potential sellers down to a few, I can actually have some really good conversations with them, and they're going to feel more comfortable coming to market, dipping their toe in the water, thinking about selling if they feel like the person that I have actually is real and actually wants their specific, the features that they offer with their home. So again, be as specific as you can, but just to get started, go ahead and comment Unlisted if you're interested in pre-market access to Unlisted Homes. As always, I hope you guys, this information has been helpful for you. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also comment let me know some other topics you'd like for me to cover as well, other tips and strategies. I do share those on Tuesdays, and I do these market news updates on Fridays. So if you're interested, make sure you, in information in the future, make sure you follow my business page and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you next time.